A little bit different scenery. Home after 6 weeks. So New Zealand didn't go as planned. I had some pretty good videos that came out from Australia. In New Zealand, the way it was going to work there was, as you all know, Sandy came over to see me and we were kind of traveling around. So what New Zealand was for me was I got into Christchurch around the 1st of March. And then I had to pick Sandy up in Auckland, which, if those who know, I had to go from the South Island to the North Island. And that's a bit of a tour. And because of that, I didn't really have much planned in terms of meetings or farm visits. And then when Sandy showed up, she's so much better at doing the vlogging stuff that I'm like, you know what, you might as well just vlog what we've done while we're in New Zealand when she was with me. And because of that, I don't have a whole lot of New Zealand, but what I'm going to do is basically put the little bit of footage I do have in for New Zealand in this video. And what I'm going to do is I have one farm visit. Sandy and I kind of both vlogged it, but we kind of did different stuff. So I'm going to put together my farm visit, some of the tourist spots I went to, and that pretty much wraps up New Zealand. The sad part is we had a whole bunch of farm trips planned kind of for the last part of our trip in New Zealand, and for me especially because I was going to a conference that was going to tour, I think, well, it's 7 days of tours, so I was going to vlog all those tours. And because of the virus, it got cancelled, which is good. And then our Canadian government said to all Canadians abroad that we should go home, which was the right thing to do. So we cut our trip short. Sandy was supposed to leave the 20th. We actually left the 17th. Today is the 18th of March and we are home. Got in last night, the kids picked us up. And to be honest, we're just going into self-quarantine here because we have to. But our family's just doing it, and that's why the kids picked us up, because we're like, we just want to be together as a family because we've been gone so long. So we are just hanging out on the farm for the next 2 weeks, which is fine because that's what I was going to be doing anyways, because I gotta go see my tractors. I haven't seen them for a long time. And it's nice to have work gear on. So I'm heading to the shop. Enjoy the little bit of New Zealand that I get to show you. My friend Corrigan's place, who's a dairy farmer. Him and I just really get along really well. Actually, our families got along really well. Sandy and his wife Ruth, I know I had a good visit too. So just people that we'll have to go back and see another time, or they can come see us too. So anyway, we will talk to you soon. I'm alive and well. I made it to New Zealand. I got in yesterday afternoon, flying into Christchurch from Brisbane. And I'm just driving up to the North Island. I'm going to do a little bit of time up in the North Island because the bulk of my trip will be in the South Island. So I don't know a lot of farms in the North Island. There's one I'm going to probably catch near the end of this week, or well, I don't know when this video is going to get up. So probably around the 9th or 10th I'm going to try to catch a fellow scholar in the Wellington area. Works for Beef and Lamb New Zealand, which would be interesting to talk to. They're like a farmer group that represents the needs for beef and sheep farmers, or lamb. And I'll show you what I got. It's a little bit of a surprise. I'm pretty excited about it. It's kind of a different way to do stuff. So anyways, I'm just stopping along the coast here. I'm on the east coast of the South Island, driving up to take the ferry across to the North Island, and I figured I'd just split the trip up over a couple days because I got some time and show you some scenery. It's pretty fantastic. I had a nice scenic drive coming along the coast. It's everything I remembered. I was in New Zealand when I was like 15 or 16. Pretty impressionable at that age, and I remember it as a beautiful country then, and even with a few gray hairs I still remember it, but it's a beautiful country still, and just amazed by the scenery so far. So I'm just gonna stretch my legs, go for a bit of a walk, and then try to find somewhere to crash tonight, and just kind of being a bit of a gypsy, just having a little fun. So I'm a day late with the surprise because I got tied up last night. I enjoyed a few beverages, cooked a steak and a potato, grass-fed New Zealand Black Angus beef. It's pretty good. And this is a surprise. Mad campers. So I have a little camper van rented for the next 19-20 days that I'm bombing across New Zealand with. Kind of doing a bit more relaxed pace in New Zealand here. I do have some stuff lined up for meetings, but not quite the pace I had in Australia. And just want to take some time to see some scenery. So I thought, what better way than a camper van. So it's a certified contained unit. I got a little toilet in there that I'll never use because I'll find a public washroom somewhere. And I stayed at a campsite last night that had showers, so and a kitchen facility and everything. So it was quite nice for, I don't know, like 15 bucks for the night. This is my home away from home for a little bit. Had a good sleep in it last night, slept by the ocean. I could basically walk a couple hundred feet and the ocean was right there, so could hear the waves while I was sleeping, so it was pretty nice. So anyways, I'm going to go to the next campsite and bunker down for the night. I'm in Blenheim, New Zealand. We're just getting on my way to Picton. I'm going to take the ferry across to the North Island and do some touring around the North Island, but those are mountains in the background and it's just rain on the horizon, so I'm gonna hop in where it's probably gonna be dry. Well, just finished a ferry ride across the Cook Strait, I believe it's called, from the South Island to the North Island. It was crappy weather and some pretty tough seas, so poor young little fella about 6 or 7 feet away from me puked all over the place. So I didn't get much footage. I gotta do the ferry ride again, so I'm hoping it's going to be in the afternoon, a nicer day. I had to get up at 5:45 to catch it, kind of be checked in by 6:30, so yeah, so I'm just gonna drive off the ferry and I'm in Wellington on the North Island. Well, I'm in Rotorua in the North Island of New Zealand. It's very active geothermically. And there's a geyser. It's actually, it looks like it's going off right now over there. I got some footage of it doing a little bit, maybe not that aggressive, so I missed it. But you can see all the steam in the area. It smells a lot like sulfur. So I'm just at my friend Corrigan's place here in the north part of the South Island. I kind of a valley over from the Nelson Valley. It was quite a climb to get up the mountain, and I'll show you in the background here. The sun's bright. But yeah, we kind of came over those, you can't really see it, but it's a beautiful view here. You can see around me, like hills in the background. We're going to have a tour of the farm here this morning, but as you can see behind me, cows are grazing. I'll zoom in for you. So they have been quite dry. They finally got some rain over the last, probably month, I think is what Corrigan said. So things have greened up. They have irrigation. We'll see some of that today when we tour around. But yeah, it is just a beautiful spot, beautiful day, clear skies, sun shining, good times. So how many tons would you have here?
We would have had 300 tons.
300 tons of Now, when you say that, is that dry matter?
Dry matter,
Yeah,
sorry.
so
Yeah, and we would have fed 150 tons out just in the dry of January and February.
And is that typical, or is that just the way it's becoming more?
It's becoming more like that.
Yeah.
And so it's actually starting to shift our system more towards accommodating that need.
So how critical now is it to have this kind of?
For us, it's become
Like
almost
essential?
critical, yeah, essential. And so we've gone and looked for land
To help off.
Yeah, because we've found that it's a cheaper proposition than purchasing concentrated feed. Yeah, palm kernel was a big tool in New Zealand.
Yep.
But it's a tool we've kind of trying to shift away from, just because we think we've become reliant on it.
It's too easy of a fix.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't solve that problem.
Are you subjected to price fluctuate?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you
we've
might rely on it
controlled
too much, and then all of a sudden it's like,
yeah,
oh, it's too expensive, and then it really affects your cost reduction.
yeah.
Where this is.
So we've leased
more-
land, fixed costs for a long period of time.
So you know what it is.
We don't have control over contractors' costs, but we try and partner with people and get good, good results there. We're in control of managing the quality of the feed.
Yep.
We're in control of harvesting and feeding out in a way that utilises the feed.
Do you have a typical? Is it just your mix that you would pasture is all you would ensile, or is it?
Yeah. We have done corn silage and maize silage. But the cost of that, because of the climate, we were getting our tonnages were going down, and it was just driving our fixed costs up too high. So we've just gone back, keep coming back to the basics of perennial ryegrass, white clover, chicory, plantain.
It works.
It works. Maybe cocksfoot or some of those other summer suited species. Yeah, we do 1,000 hours on a tractor a year.
Really?
Feeding out.
Just feeding out.
And yeah, pretty much just feeding out, managing pasture. We mow our pasture here to drive pasture quality at times when we can't do it with an animal.
So just knock it down.
Knock it down and reset a residual, which we try and absolutely avoid, but it just seems to be the dynamic of this river valley and the temperature fluctuations and the wet weather and the species we get in our swards. And we work cows ridiculously hard at times if we have to try and maintain a residual.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll probably cut our farm nearly 3 times a season at key times, and
when you cut, do you just try to knock it down, or do you actually harvest?
Okay. Well, no, we're knocking it down because it's generally waste. It's reproductive stem, and we do everything we can to avoid it, but we've come to the conclusion that it's actually easier to do than the cost of not doing it.
Yeah.
And we use a round bale which has plastic and then it's wrapped, so there's no net.
Yep. Oh, okay.
And then that just drops the silage into the wagon as the cutter goes through.
Yeah.
Cuts it, the silage falls out and the wrap's retained, and we drop the wrap in the recycling bin. Get the next bale.
So there's no net.
No net.
So
no
it's it makes the bale and it kicks it right into a wrapper.
Yeah. It's an Irish baler called a McHale. Come on, girls. That we've got back in calf. And for us, the reason we do this is they're an awesome tool for managing a bit of extra pasture in our system behind our young stock.
Yep.
Because we're wanting to feed the best of the best to the young stock. And these girls will just eat the dry tag and seed head and whatever that's left behind and drive the quality for the next grazing rotation.
So what would be the mix of the breed?
Our herd is Frisian and Jersey Cross, and we aim to have like quite a condensed spread, if you like, so that we're trying to aim for, like, say, Frisian on breed 16ths, which is how it's calculated. We would try and have an F8 J8 Frisian 8 J8 animal.
What would be the weight of these?
Because these are fat and empty,
ranging
from say 550 to 650 kilos.
Like what you would normally be
in relative to our cow?
Yeah.
Our cow on average in the herd's about 500 kilos.
Okay.
So they're a bit heavier because there's all that internal fat and stuff going on in them. Yeah. Yeah, so these are just a pasture quality tool for us. And they just an extra bit of beef income as well.
What's your replacement rate
we would like it to be around 20% or even a little bit lower.
Yeah.
But last year, whether it was dry or we had a disease called Tyleria, which is a tick, carries this disease called Tyleria, and it's been going through the herd for a little while. Last year we seemed to have a really bad run of it, and so we had a 20% empty rate in our herd, which is really unusual. Normally it would be 10, possibly 12 as a worst. And so consequently we had all these empty cows, and we've carried them through and tried to make something out of the waste, if you like. This year it's looking a lot better again.
Yep.
So if we say rare 20% replacements, we've got an opportunity to constantly be replacing the empties and culling on production.
Yep.
And driving the genetic performance of the herd all the time.
The Wagyu are blue tags.
The blue tags, yeah.
And so, yeah.
Well, we're getting, you know, I was saying these things don't eat the same, Mark, but they are growing the same. We're weighing pretty regularly, and we're doing about 0.8 a day light weight gain on these guys at the moment, which isn't too bad, really. So these guys are about 180, 190 kilos. We have a few in 200 now.
What's what do you have on inventory total and head, like between young stock?
1,500 head.
Yeah. So almost double what you milk, like.
Yeah. Never intended, just how it's evolved in the last 12 months. So these will be out of Germany. Museums, rather than out of
Waterloo.
Moline,
Moline,
yeah.
Here's the tether.
That's the tether?
Yeah.
So this is very much just a simple air seeder with a disc opener and a press wheel.
Yep, double disc opener.
Double disc opener, yeah.
And it's got some, I can see to cut, it's got some pretty good down pressure springs.
Yep. Yep.
So could you go into, you just go into
anything really.
Yep, so if you spray off a paddock, you just go back in and you don't really work it at all?
No, we try and do no working now. The only working we're doing is the 10 hectares for fodder beet.
Yep.
Just for soil health and particularly climate reasons.
Yeah.
Again, we're not rewarded for any of the stuff. It's just stuff that we know we need to do.
Yeah.
And everyone was busy, and it got ryegrass too late, and we got a really poor strike. And so we just stuff it. So we whacked a chicory crop in because we knew even though it was hot, we'd get a strike.
Yeah.
Grazed it twice. And it's just got sprayed this morning by the contractor with his truck. Watch the lines.
Yep.
And it's about to go into grass.
Okay.
Back into a perennial, yeah. So this was, so we're using a product called Crucial from New Farm.
Yep.
And because we have so many things in so many volunteer species, and by the time you do a spray out, this was probably 10 years in this pasture. Yep. We actually use a really high rate now of Crucial, 6 litres to the hectare.
Yep.
But it nails the dock
and
things, well not that one, but it will in time, because it just translocates down so well. And then we will come in and have another clean-up, a post-emergence clean-up. And then this paddock may actually not get sprayed for another 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, so it's just really the re-establishment.
Yeah. And so it sort of sounds probably coming into our farm today like I do a lot of spraying, but we don't normally do a lot of spraying. It's just that the buttercup has got bad and the dry summers have driven us
You're having to
into a situation where we've got to kind of do a bit of resetting. Catching up. This is all pretty old gear, and it actually is too noisy. So it's all coming out this winter and we're building fresh.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because I frustrate my neighbour, which I don't want to do.
Just across the way.
Just across the way, and she's been accommodating for far too many years, so we're just pricing what we're going to do. Pump technology's changed a lot. This is electrics in here, PLC, variable speed drives, living in there. So it's not going to be a massive job to replumb it, but we need something that she can't hear, and I think we're all having we have what's called a resource consent that allows us to take the water, and every consent at the moment has just expired and is being renewed, and when that comes in I'm pretty sure it's going to have some stuff around decibels and noise and stuff in it. Yeah, so the ProTrack, between the ProTrack and the camera we get quite a lot of control, and then that also runs the feed heads, so in the springtime we can feed cows. We tend to feed a grain-based pellet with their mineral requirements in it. Because it rains here a lot in the spring, it's the simplest way to get a mineral into a cow uniformly. You try to do it through water or other forms of feed. It doesn't work. And that's really as complicated as these things get.
Pretty simple.
They've got some controllers on the wall that do the washing. So they measure out the detergent, and the staff don't have to touch the acids or alkalis.
It's just
it measures in the hot water and cold water. And so the milk tanker here, when it pulls up and hooks onto that, tests our milk. So it knows before it leaves the farm if there's a milk quality issue, and it'll discard that milk when it got to the factory, and we pay for everything in that tanker. So if we got it wrong, that'd be about a $30,000 cost. So, you know, milk quality is a big deal. Cell count is the big one. We measure somatic cell count in milk, and for us, we're pretty, really focused on that and have a nice low cell count. Which means that we've got some redundancy or resilience. You're talking about that.
So this is all the.
So these are the two filters that the milk passes through first, and then it goes through a plate cooler, which cools the milk down, and then it goes into the silo. We have little systems so that people know who did what wash, but it's all programmed anyway.
And it does not smell in here at all.
No.